The Unstoppable Emperor, building unbreakable mental resilience. Let me ask you something that will expose the difference between those who are defeated by pressure and those who are forged by it. What if I told you that every emperor, every conqueror, every person who has built an unshakable empire has possessed one quality above all others? Not intelligence, not resources, not connections, but something far more powerful: unbreakable mental resilience. What if I told you that this quality isn't something you're born with, but something you can systematically build, strengthen, and weaponize until you become psychologically invincible, until nothing can break you, shake you, or stop you from building your empire? Tonight, you're going to discover what I call the unstoppable emperor psychology, the systematic process for building mental resilience so powerful that external circumstances become irrelevant, setbacks become stepping stones, and pressure becomes power. But first, let me take you inside the moment when one man demonstrated the ultimate test of unbreakable mental resilience under conditions that would have destroyed lesser minds: the Antarctic Fortress of the mind. It was May 21, 1915, and Ernest Shackleton was watching his ship, the Endurance, being crushed by Antarctic ice. 27 men looked to him for leadership as their vessel. Their only way home was slowly destroyed before their eyes. They were 1,200 miles from the nearest human outpost, with no communication, no rescue plan, and winter approaching in the most hostile environment on Earth. Any rational analysis would conclude that they were doomed. The pressure was beyond human comprehension: responsibility for 27 lives, impossible survival odds, and the crushing weight of watching everything they depended on being destroyed. But Shackleton didn't break. While others panicked, he became calmer. While others despaired, he became more focused. While others saw certain death, he saw the opportunity to demonstrate what Napoleon Hill called the unstoppable emperor psychology, the ability to remain mentally unbreakable regardless of external circumstances. Shackleton had built what I call the mental fortress, a psychological structure so strong that no external pressure could penetrate it, no setback could shake it, and no catastrophe could destroy it. For 22 months, he maintained absolute psychological stability while leading his men through impossible conditions. Every single man survived. Shackleton had proven that mental resilience isn't just about enduring pressure, it's about transforming pressure into power, crisis into clarity, and impossible circumstances into legendary achievement. Shackleton had mastered what Hill discovered was the ultimate imperial quality: the ability to remain mentally unstoppable regardless of what the world throws at you. The architecture of unbreakable resilience. Through studying leaders who had demonstrated extraordinary mental resilience under extreme pressure, Hill discovered that psychological invincibility operates according to specific principles that can be systematically developed. Principle 1: pressure immunity. Unstoppable emperors develop immunity to external pressure. They remain psychologically stable regardless of circumstances, setbacks, or opposition. Principle 2: adversity transformation. Rather than being weakened by challenges, unstoppable emperors use adversity as fuel for becoming stronger, smarter, and more determined. Principle 3: unshakable core identity. Unstoppable emperors develop a core identity that cannot be damaged by external events. Their self-worth and confidence come from within, not from circumstances. Principle 4: strategic perspective maintenance. Under pressure, most people lose perspective. Unstoppable emperors maintain strategic thinking and long-term vision, regardless of immediate challenges. Principle 5: emotional sovereignty. Unstoppable emperors control their emotional responses rather than being controlled by them. They generate the emotions they need regardless of external triggers. The 5 pillars of unstoppable psychology. Hill identified 5 mental structures that together create unbreakable psychological resilience. Pillar 1: the fortress core, unshakable identity. Pillar 2: the pressure convert, adversity transformation. Pillar 3: the vision anchor, perspective maintenance. Pillar 4: the response controller, emotional sovereignty. Pillar 5: the recovery system, rapid regeneration. Each pillar must be systematically built and strengthened to create true psychological invincibility. Pillar 1: the fortress core, building unshakable identity. The first pillar involves building a core identity that cannot be damaged by external circumstances. This identity becomes the foundation of all mental resilience. Winston Churchill, the unshakable core. Churchill's mental resilience during World War II demonstrates perfect fortress core development. When Britain stood alone against Nazi Germany, when bombing raids destroyed London nightly, when military defeats mounted, Churchill's core identity remained absolutely unshakable. Churchill's core identity system. Identity independence. Churchill's sense of self was completely independent of external circumstances. Internal self-worth. His value came from his character and principles, not from success or approval. Mission-based identity. He saw himself as Britain's defender, regardless of immediate circumstances. Historical perspective. He identified with great leaders throughout history who had faced impossible odds. Core belief structure. Churchill built unshakable beliefs about himself and his mission, meant to lead Britain through its darkest hour. Victory inevitability. Complete certainty that Britain would ultimately triumph. Character invincibility. Unshakable belief in his own moral and mental strength. Identity reinforcement protocol. Churchill systematically reinforced his core identity, daily affirmation, reviewing his mission and character strengths every morning, historical connection, regularly studying great leaders who had overcome impossible challenges, legacy visualization, seeing himself as part of Britain's heroic history. Your fortress core development, week 1-2, identity assessment. Identify what your current sense of self is based on. Determine how external circumstances currently affect your identity. Assess the strength and independence of your core beliefs about yourself. Week 3-4, core identity construction. Define your identity based on character, mission, and principles rather than circumstances. Create unshakable beliefs about your purpose and capabilities. Develop identity statements that remain true regardless of external events. Week 5-6, identity reinforcement, 8th. Create daily practices that strengthen your core identities. Develop triggers that remind you of your unshakable self. When pressure mounts, build systems that maintain identity strength during challenging periods. Pillar 2, the pressure converter, transforming adversity into strength. The second pillar involves developing the ability to convert any pressure, setback, or challenge into increased mental strength and strategic advantage. Theodore Roosevelt, the pressure transformer. Roosevelt's response to personal and political crises demonstrates perfect pressure conversion. When his mother and wife died on the same day, when political enemies attacked him, when physical challenges threatened his health, Roosevelt converted every pressure into increased strength and determination. Roosevelt's pressure conversion system. Adversity reframing. Roosevelt systematically reframed every challenge as an opportunity, obstacle to opportunity translation, seeing every setback as a chance to grow stronger, enemy to teacher conversion, using opposition as education in strategy and resilience, crisis to clarity transformation, using pressure to clarify priority and strengthen focus. Strength accumulation. Roosevelt used each challenge to build cumulative mental strength. ICSF. Resilience banking, treating each overcome challenge as an investment in future resilience. Confidence compounding, using past victories over adversity to build unshakable confidence. Skill development. Using pressure to develop new capabilities and strategies. Pressure utilization. Roosevelt learned to use pressure as fuel for achievement, energy of stress and challenge for productive purposes. Motivation amplification, using adversity to intensify commitment and determination. Your pressure conversion training. Conversion exercise 1, adversity reframing you stronger. Practice seeing obstacles as training exercises designed to build your resilience. Develop automatic reframing responses to pressure and setbacks. Conversion exercise 2, strength accumulation. Past victories as evidence of your ability to handle current pressures. Build confidence through systematic review of your pressure handling history. Pillar 3, the vision anchor, maintaining strategic perspective. The third pillar involves maintaining long-term strategic perspective, even immediate pressure. This prevents short-term challenges from derailing long-term empire building. Abraham Lincoln, the perspective master. Lincoln's ability to maintain strategic perspective during the Civil War demonstrates perfect vision anchor development. While dealing with military defeats, political opposition, personal attacks, and family tragedies, Lincoln never lost sight of his long-term vision for America. Lincoln's perspective maintenance system. Strategic vision clarity. Lincoln maintained absolute clarity about his long goals. ICSF. Mission crystallization. Complete clarity about preserving the Union and ending slavery. Historical perspective. Seeing current challenges within the context of America's future. Legacy focus. Making decisions based on long-term impact rather than short-term convenience. Perspective protection. Lincoln protected his strategic vision from being damaged by immediate pressures. Distinguishing between temporary setbacks and permanent damage. Vision-driven decision-making. Lincoln made all decisions based on long-term vision rather than immediate pressure. Future-focused strategy, making choices based on desired long-term outcomes. Vision consistency, maintaining consistent direction despite changing circumstances. Your vision anchor development. Anchor exercise 1, vision crystallization. With absolute clarity, create vision statements that remain constant regardless of immediate challenges. Develop visual and written reminders of your long-term goals. Anchor exercise 2, perspective protection TP. Create daily practices that maintain connection to your long-term vision. Develop methods for quickly returning to strategic perspective during pressure. Build systems that prevent short-term challenges from damaging long-term clarity. Pillar 4, the response controller, achieving emotional sovereignty. The fourth pillar involves developing complete control over emotional responses to pressure, setbacks, and challenge. This ensures that emotions serve your goals rather than sabotaging them. Marcus Aurelius, the emotional sovereign. Aurelius's ability to maintain emotional control while ruling the Roman Empire during plagues, wars, and betrayals demonstrates perfect response controller development. Aurelius' emotional sovereignty system, emotional independence. Aurelius developed emotions independent of external circumstances. States regardless of external events. Response choice, choosing emotional responses based on strategic value rather than automatic reaction. Emotional strategy, Aurelius used emotions strategically to serve his goal. Leadership. Energy direction, using emotional energy for productive purposes rather than reactive responses. Protocols, systematic methods for returning to desired emotional states. Stability maintenance, keeping emotional equilibrium during chaos and crisis. Strength building, using emotional challenges to build greater emotional control. Your response controller training. Controller exercise, emotional independence. Practice generating desired emotions without external triggers. Develop ability to maintain calm, confidence, and clarity regardless of circumstances. Build emotional responses based on strategic value rather than automatic reaction. Controller exercise 2, emotion strategy. Identify the emotional states that best serve your empire-building goals. Create methods for quickly accessing these states during pressure. Use emotional energy strategically to influence others and achieve objectives. Pillar 5, the recovery system, rapid psychological regeneration. The fifth pillar involves developing the ability to rapidly recover from setbacks, failures, and psychological hits. This ensures that temporary defeats don't become permanent damage. Joan of Arc, the rapid regenerator. Joan's ability to recover quickly from military defeats, political betrayals, and personal attacks while maintaining absolute confidence in her mission demonstrates perfect recovery system development. Joan's rapid recovery system, setback processing, develops systematic methods for processing defeats without being damaged by them, preventing setbacks from damaging core identity and confidence. Regeneration protocols. Joan created systems for rapidly restoring mental strength after challenges, to restoring confidence after defeats. Mission reconnection, rapid return to sense of purpose and determination. Anti-fragility development. Joan used setbacks to become stronger rather than weaker. Enhancement. Developing new capabilities in response to setbacks. Growth acceleration. Using pressure to accelerate personal and strategic development. Your recovery system training. Recovery exercise 1, setback process damage. Create protocols for clearing negative emotions quickly after setbacks. Build identity protection systems that prevent defeats from damaging self-worth. Recovery exercise 2, regeneration protocols. Challenges. Develop triggers that quickly reconnect you to your mission and purpose. Build systems that use setbacks as fuel for increased determination. The daily unstoppable protocol. Morning fortress building, 20-minute unshakable identity statements. Pressure conversion preparation. Mentally prepare to convert any challenges into strength. Vision anchor setting. Connect with your long-term strategic vision. Emotional sovereignty activation. Generate the emotional states needed for empire building. Resilience check, 10 minutes. Using pressure assessment. Evaluate current pressure levels and your response to them. Pillar strength review. Check the status of all 5 resilience pillars. Perspective maintenance. Ensure strategic vision remains clear despite immediate challenges. Response optimization. Adjust emotional and mental responses for maximum effectiveness. Evening recovery integration, 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Challenge analysis, review the day's pressures and your handling of them. Resilience building, identify how today's challenges made you stronger. Recovery completion, clear any residual negative emotions or mental stress. Tomorrow's fortress, prepare mental resilience for tomorrow's empire building. Advanced unstoppable techniques, the Shackleton method, leadership under impossible pressure, use responsibility for others to strengthen your own resilience, convert the pressure of leadership into enhanced mental toughness, maintain unshakable confidence even when others depend on you completely. The Churchill system, defiant optimism, develop unshakable optimism that defies external circumstances, use humor and perspective to maintain morale during darkest moments, convert national organizational pressure into personal strengthening. The Roosevelt Protocol, aggressive resilience, use challenges as opportunities to display and build character, convert physical and emotional pain into mental toughness, transform every setback into preparation for greater challenges. Lincoln technique, principled endurance, use moral conviction to withstand any external pressure, maintain strategic patience during periods of intense opposition, convert criticism and attack into strengthened resolve. The unstoppable laws, through studying mentally unbreakable leaders, 5 fundamental laws emerge. Law 1, the law of pressure independence. Mental resilience comes from independence from external circumstances. True strength comes from within, not from favorable conditions. Law 2, the law of adversity conversion. Every challenge contains the seeds of greater strength. Resilient leaders convert all pressure into increased capability. Law 3, the law of identity sovereignty. Unshakable identity is the foundation of all resilience. Leaders who know who they are cannot be broken by external forces. Law 4, the law of perspective power. Long-term vision provides immunity to short-term pressure. Strategic perspective prevents tactical setbacks from causing strategic Law 5, the law of recovery acceleration. The speed of recovery determines the ultimate strength. Leaders who recover quickly become stronger with each challenge. Your unstoppable transformation. And now we come to the moment of ultimate choice. You've discovered the exact system that Shackleton, Churchill, Roosevelt, Lincoln, Aurelius, and Joan of Arc used to become psychologically invincible. You've learned how to build the 5 pillars that create unbreakable mental resilience. The question isn't whether these methods work. History's greatest leaders proved their power beyond doubt. The question is, will you build the mental fortress that makes you unstoppable, or will you remain vulnerable to every pressure, setback, and challenge? Most people will hear about building mental resilience and think it sounds difficult. Some will try the techniques for a few weeks and return to being vulnerable to pressure. A few will systematically build the 5 pillars and will discover that psychological invincibility is not just possible, it's inevitable when you follow the right system. Which group will you join? Remember, Shackleton faced impossible survival odds and emerged stronger. Churchill withstood the full force of Nazi Germany and never wavered. Roosevelt converted every personal and political attack into increased determination. Lincoln endured the Civil War and emerged as America's greatest president. You face pressures, setbacks, and challenges. These are not punishments, they are opportunities to build the unbreakable mental resilience that creates unstoppable emperors. Every pressure you face is training. Every setback is education. Every challenge is strengthening. But only if you use them correctly. Build the fortress, develop the pillars. Become unstoppable. Your mental fortress construction begins now. If this message has awakened your understanding of true mental resilience, if you're ready to stop being vulnerable to pressure and start being strengthened by it, if you're finally ready to build the unbreakable psychology that makes emperors unstoppable, then I need you to take action immediately. Like this video if you're ready to build unbreakable mental resilience. Subscribe to this channel if you want ongoing training in unstoppable psychology. Comment below and declare, I build the mental fortress, I am unbreakable, I am unstoppable. Share this message with someone who needs to discover their inner fortress. When you help others build mental resilience, you strengthen your own unstoppable psychology. Remember, every moment you remain vulnerable to pressure is a moment you delay your empire. Every moment you build mental resilience is a moment you become more unstoppable. Shackleton could have been broken by impossible circumstances. Instead, he became legendary. Churchill could have been defeated by overwhelming opposition. Instead, he became Britain's greatest leader. You have the same choice. You have the same potential. You have the same opportunity to build psychological invincibility. The mental fortress is waiting to be. The unstoppable psychology is waiting to be developed. The emperor's resilience is waiting to be claimed. Build the fortress, face the pressure, become unstoppable. Your unbreakable empire begins with your unbreakable mind.